I want you to imagine something with me for just a moment. You're sitting in your favorite chair, maybe by the window where the light pours in just right. You reach for the morning paper, or perhaps your grandchild's drawing on the table, but you squint. The image is blurrier than it used to be. You rub your eyes, thinking it's just fatigue. But deep down, you know something is changing. Does that sound familiar? I've heard this same story hundreds of times from my patients over 60. At first, it's just a bit of blurriness. Then comes the eye strain, the dryness, the dimming light. And for many, it eventually leads to cataracts, macular degeneration, or vision loss so severe it affects independence. Now, here's the part that might surprise you and maybe even frustrate you. It's not just age. It's not just something that happens because the calendar flipped to 65. One of the biggest threats to your eyesight isn't what you inherited. It's what you put on your plate. Yes, food. Everyday, ordinary foods. In fact, many of the items hiding in your pantry or fridge, things you might eat every single day, are quietly harming your eyes. And the worst part? They don't look dangerous at all. Some of them are labeled as healthy, heart-friendly, or even fortified with vitamins. But behind the label, they may be doing more damage to your vision than you ever imagined. I know how overwhelming that sounds. When you've spent decades building habits, morning routines, favorite snacks, comfort meals, the last thing you want to hear is that those very foods might be hurting you. But I'm not here to shame your choices. I'm here to show you a better way, a hopeful way. Because just as certain foods can break down your eye health over time, others can build it back up. Over the next few minutes, we're going to uncover 8 common foods that I call the vision destroyers. They sneak into your daily routine quietly, a quick breakfast here, a savory bite there, and over time, they chip away at the delicate blood vessels and tissues that keep your eyes healthy. And the most dangerous one? It's something that nearly 85% of seniors eat daily, often without a second thought. I'll also share with you simple swaps, practical ideas, and even the story of one of my patients, Mary, age 72, who turned her fading vision around with just a few smart changes. But before we dive in, I want you to remember this. It's never too late to fight back. Your eyes are not gone. They're just waiting for you to start giving them the care they truly deserve. And it begins by knowing what's silently harming them, so you can finally stop the damage and reclaim the clear, vibrant vision you were meant to enjoy no matter your age. Let's start at the very place where so many seniors begin their day. Breakfast. Breakfast is supposed to be the healthiest meal of the day, right? But what if I told you, for many seniors, it's actually the most damaging? Let me ask, have you ever poured yourself a bowl of cereal in the morning, something that looks healthy? Maybe it says whole grain or vitamin fortified on the box, and thought, this is a good box? Light choice to start my day? If so, you're not alone. In fact, it's one of the most common habits I see in patients over 60. But here's the harsh truth. Most breakfast cereals, even the ones that look healthy, are loaded with hidden sugars. And sugar is one of the greatest enemies of your eyesight. You see, when you eat sugar, it spikes your blood glucose levels. That sugar travels through your bloodstream and begins to affect the tiny, fragile blood vessels in your eyes, the ones responsible for delivering oxygen and nutrients to your retina. And when those vessels get damaged, it can lead to serious conditions like diabetic retinopathy, where parts of your retina start to deteriorate. Over time, this can cause blurred vision, dark spots, and even permanent loss of sight. I remember one patient of mine, Harold, age 68, who came in complaining of blurry vision and thought it was just age catching up to him. But when we dug deeper, his breakfast every morning for 15 years had been a bowl of fiber-rich cereal with a sprinkle of raisins and 18 grams of sugar per serving. Multiply that by 365 days a year, and you can imagine the strain on his eyes. Now, let me be clear, this isn't just about candy or soda. This is about everyday foods that wear a disguise. Cereal companies are clever. They slap on labels like heart healthy or low fat and sprinkle in a few synthetic vitamins, but meanwhile, the sugar content is sky high. Even cereals that appear to be natural or for adults often contain more sugar than a dessert. But the damage isn't just long-term. In the short term, sugar crashes throughout the day can cause eye strain, headaches, and fatigue, making reading or screen time uncomfortable. So, what's the solution? You don't need to give up breakfast. In fact, it can still be your most powerful meal of the day if you choose the right fuel. Instead of boxed cereals, go for real nourishing options. A warm bowl of steel-cut oats with cinnamon and berries. A hard-boiled egg, or scrambled eggs with spinach. Even a slice of whole-grain toast with avocado or cottage cheese. These foods help stabilize your blood sugar, and that protects the delicate blood vessels in your eyes from damage. Harold, the patient I mentioned earlier, made the switch. He swapped his sugary cereal for eggs and sautéed greens, and within 2 months, he told me the fog in his vision had lifted. His eyes felt less strained, and he had more energy throughout the day. It wasn't magic, it was blood sugar stability, and it made all the difference. The bottom line is this: your eyes are fed by your blood. What feeds your blood feeds your vision. So each morning, as you reach for breakfast, ask yourself, is this meal going to fuel my sight or slowly steal it? Next, we'll talk about something even more insidious than sugar, something many people enjoy at lunch or dinner without realizing the silent damage it causes. Let's talk about processed meats and the shocking way they suffocate your vision from the inside. Now, let's talk about something a little more savory. Bacon, sausages, salami, fried chicken. They smell amazing. They remind us of family breakfasts, weekend comfort, and sometimes even childhood memories. But here's what most people don't realize, especially seniors. These familiar tasty foods are silently hurting your eyes one bite at a time. Let's start with processed meats. These include deli meats, ham, bacon, and sausages, the kind that's been cured, smoked, or preserved for longer shelf life. They're packed with salt and preservatives, especially a type called sodium nitrate. And while that may keep them fresh, it doesn't keep your eyes safe. When you eat high-sodium foods daily, your body starts to retain fluid. That can raise your blood pressure. And over time, that elevated pressure strains the tiny, delicate blood vessels in your eyes, especially those that feed your retina and macula. Think of these vessels like fragile garden hoses. When pressure builds up inside, they weaken, stretch, and eventually they leak or collapse. And when that happens, you may begin to notice swelling behind your eyes, blurry vision, or sharp, sudden vision loss that's hard to explain. One of my patients, Carolyn, 74 years old, came to me with dry, burning eyes and mild swelling. She was convinced it was just allergy season. But a deeper look at her food journal told another story. Breakfast included bacon, lunch was often deli turkey, and dinner was sometimes canned soup, all incredibly high in sodium. I gently asked her, "Carolyn, have you ever considered how much salt is sneaking into your day?" She was shocked. Together, we created a simple shift: grilled chicken instead of bacon, fresh lemon and herbs instead of salt, and more whole foods. Within 6 weeks, not only had the swelling in her eyes improved, but her blood pressure dropped, and she told me she could finally read her favorite mystery novels without that nagging dryness. Now let's move to another favorite: fried foods. French fries, fried fish, chicken nuggets, foods that comfort but inflame. These items are often cooked in cheap, highly processed oils, which form trans fats when heated to high temperatures. These trans fats are toxic to your arteries and your eyes. Here's how. They raise your bad cholesterol, LDL, and lower your good cholesterol, HDL. That imbalance creates plaque buildup, and that plaque doesn't just clog the arteries to your heart. It can also block the microscopic capillaries that feed your eyes. When your eyes don't receive enough oxygen and nutrients, the damage begins. Vision fades. Eye fatigue sets in. Macular degeneration, the leading cause of vision loss in seniors, creeps closer. It's not just about avoiding the drive-through. It's about recognizing that inflammation is the quiet thief of your sight. The good news is, this is completely reversible. When you replace fried meats with baked or grilled options, your body and your eyes begin to heal. Instead of frying that chicken, try baking it with olive oil, turmeric, and rosemary, all of which support eye health and reduce inflammation. You don't have to give up flavor. You just have to give up the ingredients that are stealing your vision while pretending to be harmless. So, next time you're about to say, just one more slice of bacon, pause and ask yourself, is this bite worth the pressure it puts on my eyes? Your vision is too precious to gamble with. And the next foods on our list? They look even more innocent, but might be even more dangerous. Let's talk about white bread, margarine, and instant noodles, a trio so common it might be sitting in your kitchen right now. Let's take a walk through your pantry, shall we? You might find a loaf of soft white bread, a tub of margarine, maybe a pack or two of instant noodles for those quick meals. These foods feel safe, familiar. They're inexpensive, easy to prepare, and gentle on the stomach. But when it comes to your eyes, this trio is anything but gentle. Let's start with white bread. It's soft, it's fluffy, and it's made from refined flour. That means the natural fiber and nutrients have been stripped away, leaving behind something that turns to sugar almost instantly once it hits your bloodstream. This sugar spike puts pressure on the small blood vessels in your eyes, especially those in the retina, the part responsible for clear, focused vision. Over time, this can lead to problems like blurred vision, poor night sight, or even damage to the macula. And worst of all, it's so easy to eat white bread every single day, toast in the morning, a sandwich at lunch, a slice with dinner, without ever connecting it to your fading vision. Next, let's talk about margarine. For years, margarine was marketed as the healthy alternative to butter. But many margarine products are loaded with trans fats, the very fats that increase inflammation and raise bad cholesterol. And remember what I said earlier? When inflammation rises, the blood vessels that support your eyes start to weaken. Nutrients can't flow properly. Oxygen delivery slows. The retina, your eye's powerhouse, begins to suffer. Even more alarming, this damage can accumulate silently for years, until one day you realize you're struggling to read or everything looks hazy. And then, we have instant noodles. They're quick, they're comforting, but they're also a perfect storm of salt, fat, and emptiness. Most instant noodles are high in sodium, which raises your blood pressure again, adding dangerous pressure on the fragile eye vessels. They're also severely lacking in nutrients, so your eyes are being starved of the vitamins and minerals they depend on to stay strong. I once had a patient, Tom, 70, who said he ate instant noodles for lunch just to save time. But what he didn't realize was that his daily habit was contributing to the very eye strain that made reading impossible by evening. After switching to whole foods like vegetable soup and brown rice, his vision improved noticeably within weeks. You see, it's not about perfection. It's about consistency and awareness. So, what can you do? Replace white bread with whole grain or sprouted grain options. Use olive oil or avocado spread instead of margarine. Swap out instant noodles for quick home-cooked meals like quinoa, lentils, or veggie stir-fry. These changes aren't radical, they're simple, but the impact on your eyes? Profound. Because when you nourish your body with real, whole food, you give your eyes the fuel they need to repair, protect, and thrive. Coming up next, we'll dive into two of the most underestimated threats to senior eye health: sweetened drinks and packaged snacks, the everyday indulgences that slowly sabotage your sight. Now let's talk about the little treats that sneak into our day not as full meals, but as small comforts. A cold soda in the afternoon, a bottle of fruit juice from the fridge, a handful of chips or cookies while watching TV. Harmless, right? Unfortunately, not for your eyes. Let's begin with sweetened drinks. Sodas, fruit punches, bottled teas, energy drinks. Many seniors don't even think twice about these. It's just a juice, they'll say. Or, it's better than soda, right? But here's the truth. Most sweetened drinks are loaded with fast-digesting sugars, the kind that spike your blood sugar almost immediately. And as we've seen again and again, those spikes begin a chain reaction. They damage the tiny capillaries in your eyes, especially the vessels that feed your retina. Over time, this can lead to diabetic retinopathy, a condition where the blood vessels leak or become blocked, starving the eye of oxygen and nutrients. What's terrifying is how quietly it builds. You may not notice a thing until one day your vision darkens, or small black spots appear in your field of view, and by the time it shows up, the damage has already begun. Now, let's talk about packaged snacks, chips, crackers, cookies, snack bars. They're designed to taste good, hit your cravings fast, and keep you coming back for more. But what are you really eating? Refined flour, added sugars, unhealthy oils, tons of salt. It's a recipe for inflammation, high cholesterol, and elevated blood pressure, all of which are devastating to eye health. You see, your eyes are among the first places in the body where vascular damage becomes visible. That's because the blood vessels there are so small, so sensitive, and so essential. Inflammation from poor diet causes those vessels to become stiff, leaky, or clogged. And once that happens, the retina begins to degenerate. I once asked a patient, "How often do you snack during the day?" Her answer, "Oh, just a few crackers and juice. Nothing big." But when we added it up, it was nearly 40 grams of sugar and 800 milligrams of sodium just from snacks alone. No wonder her eyes were dry, fatigued, and foggy by dinner time. The solution? You don't have to give up snacking. You just have to snack smarter. Instead of juice, try water infused with lemon or berries. Instead of chips, reach for a handful of walnuts or carrot sticks with hummus. Instead of cookies, enjoy a small bowl of Greek yogurt with cinnamon. These choices stabilize your blood sugar, reduce inflammation, and feed your eyes with real nutrition. Remember, it's not the one-time treat that steals your sight. It's the daily habits, the quiet comforts, the things we do on autopilot that slowly erode our vision. But once you're aware of them, you can stop the damage. You can start rebuilding. And just to prove it, in the next part, I'll share the story of one woman in her 70 seconds who turned her vision around not with surgery, not with medication, but by changing the way she eats, one meal at a time. It's a story of hope, and it could be yours too. Let me tell you a simple story. Mary was 72 when she first came to see me. Sweet woman, independent, lived alone, loved crossword puzzles and baking for her grandchildren. But lately, she'd stopped doing both. Her eyes were dry, her vision blurry by midday, and reading had become exhausting. She feared it was just old age, and there was nothing she could do. But as we talked, one thing became clear. Her daily meals were full of sugar, salt, and processed foods, things that had crept into her routine over time. Cereal for breakfast, deli meats for lunch, a sugary drink in the afternoon, crackers before bed. Nothing extreme, nothing unusual. In fact, they were the same foods millions of seniors eat every day. I told Mary something I've told many others. You don't need a dramatic overhaul. You just need a small, steady shift, one choice at a time. So she started simple. Oatmeal instead of cereal, baked salmon instead of deli meats, water with lemon instead of juice. No pills, no special supplements. Just food. Real, whole food. 6 weeks later, she came back smiling. Her energy had returned. The dryness had eased. And she said something that stuck with me. I thought my eyesight was gone forever, but it turns out it just needed me to stop hurting it. Mary's story isn't unique. It's what happens when we remove the quiet daily damage and replace it with nourishment. Your body wants to heal. Your eyes want to repair. But they can't do it while being attacked from your plate every day. So ask yourself, what if one small change today could protect your vision tomorrow? Because that's exactly what happened for Mary. And it can happen for you too. Next, I'll walk you through a simple, practical daily routine, one that protects your eyes, supports your energy, and puts you back in control, one meal at a time. If you've made it this far, let me say something from the heart. You care about your vision. And that tells me you're ready to protect it, not with gimmicks or guesswork, but with real choices, made every single day. So let's make it simple. Here's a gentle plan you can begin today, no matter your age or health condition. 1. Breakfast. Start with oats, eggs, or a smoothie rich in leafy greens and berries. Avoid cereals with added sugar, and skip the white toast. Your goal here? Steady blood sugar and nutrients that feed your retina. 2. Lunch. Choose fresh protein like grilled chicken, fish, or beans. Pair it with colorful vegetables and whole grains like quinoa or brown rice. Skip the deli meats and salty soups. Your eyes thrive on circulation, and this lunch keeps the blood flowing freely. 3. Dinner. Keep it light but rich in omega-3 seconds and antioxidants. A simple baked salmon or lentil stew works beautifully. Avoid fried foods, instant noodles, and heavy starches. Remember, your body recovers during sleep, and your eyes are no exception. 4. Drinks throughout the day. Stick with water, herbal teas, or fruit-infused water. Avoid sodas, sweetened juices, and anything labeled diet that comes in a bottle. Your eyes need hydration, not sugar spikes. 5. Snacks. Choose nuts, seeds, carrots, boiled eggs, or Greek yogurt. Stay away from packaged snacks, chips, and crackers that feed inflammation. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. Even small mindful changes can lead to clearer vision, less strain, and perhaps most important, confidence that you're in control again. I know it's hard. Changing how we eat feels personal, emotional. But every day, I see patients who once felt powerless take back their health and their sight one meal at a time. And if you ever doubt whether it's too late, just remember this. Your eyes haven't given up on you. They're waiting for you to start protecting them with every bite, every sip, every choice. So here's my invitation to you. Start with just one change today. Maybe it's what you eat for breakfast, or what you skip for lunch. Let that one small change be the beginning of your comeback. And if this video helped you, I encourage you to pass it on. Someone else out there might be quietly struggling just like you were, and your share could make all the difference. If you'd like more guidance, be sure to check the link in the description for the Senior Health app, a simple tool to help you track what's helping and what's hurting your vision. And finally, leave a comment below. Tell us your story, your questions, or your small victories. You never know who you'll inspire. Your vision matters. And you are not alone on this journey.